I am live. My name is Emma Lovell. I am a personal branding coach and I am in the middle of launch week. I am launching my How to Live and Love Your Brand course. Today's day 4 of 8. So we're halfway. Oh my gosh, amazing. I've had the most wonderful conversations. Hi Megan, we're going to get you on in just a second. Today we're talking to Megan Winter from Loom, and we're going to be talking about her experience of working with me in the How to Live and Love Your Brand course and what it's done for her personal brand. As a speaker and someone who's broadcasting and based in Australia, Queensland, the Gold Coast, I would like to pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the land, the Bundjalung people of the Yugambeh language region. I pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Let's welcome on Megan. Hi Megan! Didn't do a great job on the old makeup this morning, but I did get my hair done, which is fun. So, good morning, Megan! How are you? So it's a bit funny because for the people on Facebook and LinkedIn, they're going to hear like you in the background. So we'll share the Instagram live in the link after this, but I want to go, we're on both, but I'm going to be talking to you. Cool. So let's start with the big old fun question of who are you?
Who am I? You know what? I was actually at a retreat recently and they asked this question and you just had to like hold space and then ask the question 3 times. And we were like going deep into like, who am I? It's a really hard question to answer. But I guess my elevator pitch is, hi, I'm Megan Winter and I help e-commerce brands who have heart and soul to sell more on their online store through up-leveling their marketing and skyrocketing their sales. So I do that through being an agency owner. So I have a Facebook ads agency that we help our clients grow using the tools available to us. So at the moment, that's Facebook and Instagram. I'm also an e-commerce coach and mentor, and I also have my own online stores. So
You do.
It's a bit of a sandbox to play and to just have fun with testing stuff that we wouldn't necessarily do on our clients' accounts. So that's
I
me.
love that you bought a business to play with. I'm just going to move this. You bought a business to play with. You're like, I'm just going to play with this. I was like, that's a fun thing to do. Dot and a sock, which I have some of. It's fantastic. I love them. I know which ones with my little. I didn't know the trick about folding them though. So you did a reel where you folded them and you could see the color. I was like, oh, duh. Thank you. That was helpful. So really helpful reels there. But let's talk about how we met. And I'm really getting, my dad said the other day, like, it's been almost 3 years of, no, it hasn't. And then it was like, oh, yeah, well, like 2020, 2021, and we're nearly at the end of 2022. So I'm like, oh, we've known each other for nearly 2 years. I was like, no, we've known each other for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Crazy. But tell it, how we met, and I guess where were you at when we met?
So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but did we meet at Business Chicks? That's through Business Chicks, I believe.
Yeah. We joined the business club.
Business club, yes. And so where I was at that point was I'd started a business where I'd created a curriculum, which was to teach people how to do what we do in the basically to do themselves. I had brought on someone else into the business, and that business had its own very distinct brand that was not really aligned with who I was as a person. And I kind of just, picked up my thing. Company branding is not my thing. And so I was kind of just not sure of where I'd sort of fit, I guess, in the puzzle. I'd always been very well known as just Megan Winter. And so, I was kind of a bit, I guess, like lost as to like how to even explain myself, how to kind of fit into that puzzle. I was also, I think, a brand new mom or maybe pregnant when I met you.
Yes, she would have been pretty little. Yeah.
Out of her or having her. So I've got a 9-year-old and I've got a 2.5-year-old. So, I'm a busy working mum, as well as a busy working business, woman. And I sort of just had like this really lost kind of feeling as to, you know, who I even was and how to show up as myself, as in my own personal brand within those other kind of structures. And so that's that's what I was feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I think that's quite common that happens, is that we put so much equity, so much effort into a business. And then obviously you've got to be representing your business and show with that. But that means then, who am I without the business title? And you had that before, but you know, and that's such a big time. You know, I had Eleanor Burt on yesterday, and she's also got a young baby at the moment, and same, has a 6-year-old and then a young baby, and it's like going back into that time. Of course, that's a time of change and transformation, even though you've done it before. When you're doing something, when your life is in a new state of flux and you're finding your new groove, of course you're going to then feel a bit lost and unsure and be like, well, so I'm a mum of 2 now, I'm a business owner, but I also do this. Like, it's confusing.
I'm a business owner, but I'm also like volunteering at the school. And it's like, there's so many things, so many hats. There's so many hats within the business, but then there's so many hats within life.
Yeah. And it was funny because, you know, you and I both have this thing of like, sometimes you can dish it, but you can't take it. So we met officially, like we were in the group and we were like connecting and that sort of thing. And then we got to meet in May 2021. So I had my 4-month-old, I guess Edie was probably like 10 months old. And we met at the dinner and we sat next to each other, which was lovely. And I connected because you had these fabulous earrings, which you often have, these like pink and orange. I still remember they're like pom-poms out your ears. And I was like, we're going to be friends. And I started saying, oh, I think I want to run a course. I think I'm going to do a course, because I had been running my program one-on-one. So yeah, this is me coming off the back of maternity leave, as you do. Like, I think I was about to put my son into childcare, like 1 week away. And I was like, I think I'm going to do it, but I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And then you told me all about how you started with your pilot. And it basically, Megan is the reason that we're here today with How to Live and Love Your Brand course, because she made me do it.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes, I always, and I'm sort of coming full circle around on that. I'm letting it marinate myself. I think there's some program or something that I can bring my magic back out into the world in a really different way. And yeah, it's just, you know, you'll have to give me that advice back soon.
I'll dish it back. As I said, you can't sometimes see the wood through the trees, and I'm here to help people show up. But I, just as much as I'm doing that for others, you know, Megan's done it for me, and so have the other women. Like, I need that. That's why I believe in the community and I believe in support, because sometimes we just get too stuck in our own head. Like, I'm a businesswoman. I can, you know, I can support you. I can give you all of these things, and literally, like, I have to look in the camera and tell the same thing to myself that I'm saying to someone else. Like, you know, why couldn't you do this? And they're like, why don't you do that? And I'm like, oh yeah. But you tell me about the pilot. So, you know, like, we're going back a bit in time, but yes, so you did the pilot, which inspired me. I'd love to hear just how that came to be.
Yeah, I mean, how it came to be was January 2018. I cannot tell you how clear that moment in my mind was. I was sitting on my kitchen counter and I was in complete procrastination, complete buffer mode, as in like just feeling, you know, kind of procrastinating as to what to do, I guess. And I was like, oh, maybe I need to learn something new. And I was working for some really big brands. I was working for as a marketing manager and also as a mentor for a Facebook ads academy, where we were teaching other agency owners how to run Facebook ads successfully. And I just had this moment where I just went, Megan, you do not need to learn anything new right now. Like, that's just such a classic way of procrastinating, is trying to fill up my skill bucket when my skill bucket and my experience and my knowledge was actually, you know, 10 steps ahead of where my potential students or potential, you know, audience was. And so I think you only really need to be 1 step ahead of where they are, because you know, that's where you can add the value. And so I just went, it was like a brain fart. I just went, I'm just going to do a pilot program. I'm just going to do a course. And so I put it out on my social media and I said, hey, you know, for those who know me, you know that I work in e-com, you know that I work for some great, you know, brands. I'm going to teach you what I do, so that you can do it for yourself. And I just put it out and said, whoever wants to join me for the first round. It'll be half price or something. And I had 5 people join me, or no, it might have been 6, or anyway, you know, it was around that 5, 6 sort of number. And so, yeah, we went through. That was the very first round. I tweaked it. I changed it after about the 3rd round or 4th round. On the 4th round, sorry, I brought in a guest coach, which then became my business partner. And it just grew from there. It just became this big, amazing course that I have since sold and am on to, you know, my next exciting adventures. So you just got to start. Like, it was one little brain went, I'm just going to do this.
Yeah, and that's because I was talking to you. I mean, I saw what you were doing. I knew what you had created, and it was like, you know, the old Lovely pick your brain thing. I don't even know. I was just kind of like, oh, I think we're going to do this. And I was sitting there going, and emails and funnels and da-di-da and all this stuff. And you were like, why don't you just post it and see if people even want it? She's like, and you even was so generous. I'm so grateful to Megan because she was so generous. She showed me what she had done and just really made it achievable and accessible. And especially where I was at, you know, I'm coming back from maternity leave. I haven't really worked solid days for 4.5 months. Definitely didn't have the headspace for it. And this is huge. What I'm doing right now is huge. A launch is a big moving beast. It's a huge marketing exercise. It's amazing, but to do that without even knowing if this group is going to work. And so I put it out there. And then to my surprise, these 2 lovely women from Unstoppable E-commerce joined. And I at the time I was like, oh, thank you, Megan. It's kind of thought it was like, you can do it. And you were like, no, I actually want your course. Like, I actually want to do it. And not only that, but you then showed up in the course. We had 8 gorgeous women for my first round, which is incredible. And I thought I was going to need help to like kind of be like, I had one lady join and I was like, can you be like the person who does all the conversation? Can you, because I know where I'm like, can you like spark conversation and make sure people interact? I didn't need that. Like, if anything, she couldn't get a word in edgeways because everyone was so engaged, which was, you know, to me, such an honor that people were there and engaged. And it was such a forgiving space as well, where everybody was there learning along with me, and we got to kind of build it together, which, you know, and it was just that just start. So, you know, Megan, I'm so grateful, not only for you sparking it, but also for you like participating. Like, that's, I don't want to, you know, as a teacher and a mentor and as a coach, like, you don't want to just take people's money and then have the course sit there. Like, we want people to get results. I want to see your change in your life. Otherwise, what am I doing? You know, I don't want you just to give me money and then sit there. Like, I want to help you. And then, you know, to see where you're at now is lovely. So
I'm so grateful for you sharing that, because it was just such a beautiful space. And for me, I haven't actually, I don't think, told anyone this in a work environment, but I've actually got ADD. And for to have the calls was invaluable to me, because I can't sit and focus on, even watching videos is just so boring for me. And I know everybody learns in different ways, but to have that attention where I could actually engage, and to have the group where I could engage, and just my learning style is it has to be so hands-on, it has to be so focused, like something that I'm not naturally strong at, which is the branding side of it. You know, I will get distracted within 2 seconds. If you give me some data on e-com, I could sit there and get, you know, sucked down the rabbit hole and stay there for 2 hours. Like, I love that, but my brain doesn't work in the way that I can sit and, you know, just kind of go through a course in a normal way. So I was so grateful for the calls and for the engagement, and just for the energy that came, because the energy, the unspoken, like intangible energy that is created with a group of humans who are all wanting the same thing, it just elevates, and it elevates everything. So it's the content is great, the calls are great, the community is great, but like when you put it all together, it's just like this little magical space. So I was really grateful. Game changer.
And well, yeah, and you know, the diversity, I'm actually going to share a reel today just to show like the diversity of the women that were in it. And like what I love is obviously, you know, I think I felt like I had to know it all, and I know I'm steps ahead. And you know, it's somewhat intimidating when a wonderful businesswoman like you comes in and like, what can I teach her? Like, she's doing great stuff, but again, we can't see the wood through the trees for our own stuff, you know. And so, and especially when we're doing the work on ourselves, like that's a whole new ball game if you haven't even been asked these questions, you know, about what you want in your life. And what I've loved seeing for you is how, yeah, you're showing up personally. And even the fact that I remember having a lunch and you talked about loving horse riding with Ruth, and now you're doing it again, you know, doing things for you. Like you put a photo the other day of you in Fiji. You invited me, next time I'll come, to go to this. You did this thing for you, and at the time we met, you weren't able to do that. You weren't doing those things for yourself.
Yeah. And at the time that we met too, it was like, it was an intense time. I had, you know, just so much happening, so much personal stuff, and then to try and sort of navigate through the business. It's just, I think it's really important to have that sort of true north, like North Star that you have, that you know, always come back to. And I think that is the personal brand, because I remember you said once, you know, everybody has a personal brand, whether you are trying to or not, like whether you know it or not. And so I just knew that, you know, you're always kind of putting something out there, and to look after myself is like the biggest thing that I could do for my business, because it was, you know, I am that sort of North Star, if that makes sense.
You are. You're the people, and you say it too. People want to work with people. So if you're not showing you, even I think because you work with products, and people are like, oh, but no, I put my product forward. But like, there's so many products. Why would I choose your product over someone else? It's because you've got this lovely story of how you created the product. Like, where's the founder from? Like, that founder's story is what we connect to, or the reason why you started, and your why, which can be big work and hard work and like intimidating, but getting back to like the things you love, like you showing horse riding, you showing camping, you know, that's connected me with you even more. It's like, oh, we love outdoors. We still have to do a bushwalk together, but you know, we're like, oh, I like that too. Oh, we have a child. Oh, they're similar age. Like, if I didn't know those things about you, it would just be like, oh, okay, there's this Facebook ads lady.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really need Facebook ads, so I'm not going to talk to her. But it's like, oh no, you're a business owner. You're a mum. You love the outdoors. You're going to Fiji. Okay, you're my people.
Yes. Yeah, and I think it's, you know, sometimes I have to almost put my blinkers on. It's, again, you know, giving the same advice that I would give someone else is, you know, I have to put my blinkers on and not even worry about what other e-commerce, you know, coaches or people or Facebook ads people or whatever are out there, because nobody is going to say it in the way that I say it. Nobody, you know, I'm the analogy queen. I love to explain things.
Good at it.
And, you know, like I've got all these funny little sayings and quotes and stuff that, like, even to the, you know, even if somebody else was to use my words and to say the things that I once said, it's not going to be the same magic, because it's my story. It's my way of saying it. It's my connection, you know. And so forgetting what it, you know, really just sticking to your own path and forgetting about what all the competitors are doing. That's such an important thing for me to remember and to do.
And doing what you want. Like, I think sometimes we're like, well, what do they want? What do the audience want? What do people want? What do people need? And it's like, you know, and there might be people who argue against this, but why are we in business if not for ourselves as well? Why are we just doing, you know, you're essentially then creating a job for yourself, and you're just working to pay other people. And that's nice. That's a nice thing to be able to support others. But it's like, what life am I living? Like, why am I running this business if I don't get to live the life that I want to live?
Yeah. I mean, getting close to burnout at the start of this year, and it lasted a good 6 months, I'd say. I was in a world of hurt with burnout, and just, you know, everything changes when you are in that. Just it's like a darkness. I can't even. It's just, you know, my diet changed, my live, you know, spark for life changed. Like everything just, you know, was just dull. And so, you know, we were still doing business and still doing the agency, and the business was doing really well. And the team are amazing. I have an amazing team, but I just couldn't get my spark. And then sort of, I don't know, just, I guess I kind of had to have a few circuit breakers and do things like go to Fiji, and I've got my horse riding coming up, which will be amazing. Lots of camping, lots of spending time with family, lots of slow, you know, slowly. It's not it wasn't an instant overnight thing at all. But now I feel like I'm just back and doing things differently. So we've got this thing in our business now that if it's not fun and easy, then we're not going to do it. And I've got, you know, these amazing goals to, you know, continue to grow the business and to continue to add value to our clients and to continue to add value to my team and the business. And then I've sort of finally realized that, you know, it's okay for me to take some of that value as well. So like, you know, goals where it's like increasing my wage, and doing it without having to work till midnight, like things that is just in flow. Like the business can be such a beautiful flowy space. And yeah, I think, you know, anyway, long way of saying that was like, I feel like I've sort of finally come back into that. If it's not fun, but also if it's not easy and flowy, I don't think business needs to be hard. Business doesn't need to be a slog. It doesn't need to be, it should be easy because you're giving an equal value exchange. I'm giving my magic and I'm helping your business grow and you're paying me for that. It's equal.
And then you should receive the reward of doing your work. Otherwise, why are we here doing this if we're just working for others? Like, that is not a sustainable approach. And I think it's just so okay with, it's just such like a, I don't know, in Australia, like it's always that tall poppy syndrome, but not that. There's something else. It's like that we can't be out for ourselves. I think America does it so much better. Like that they're like, yeah, I am awesome. I am great. I am going to buy myself this nice car. I do have a wonderful house because I worked for it. Like, but we can't be like showy about that, or we can't share our lives. And it's like, some people that's going to be triggering and upsetting, but I'm like, why can't I inspire people with the fact that I am living the life that I choose? Like, I know during COVID, it was a little bit hard for people. They like would see me walking by the beach, but it's like, that's a choice I made. I choose to live in the Gold Coast. I choose to run this business. It's not, there are times that are challenging, but it's my choice. And I think we get to choose ourselves. And it's what I'm, you know, with the Live and Love Your Brand, it's like, for once, let's put yourself first. And when I'm talking to people, I think we probably went through this too. We go through the personal brand questionnaire and I'm like, what do you want? Or what's an ideal life? And people start talking about the business. And I'm like, thank you, but I asked you what you want. And then they go, da, 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 and they start talking about the business again. Okay, cool. But what do you want? Where do you want to live? What do you want to be doing? Who do you want to be around? Like, what do you want? Because when you're clear on that, then you're showing the world you want that. And then like, it's kind of going to come to you. The business will do its thing. You know, you'll get the right people. And I love that the women that I get to work with, you know, the people who came to that group, it was like, oh, you're all meant to be here. And you're all supporting. This is my point I was getting back to ages ago, but you were all supporting each other. And it was so lovely to see, you know, it's not just me coaching. It's not me just going, learn this, know this, da, da, da. It was like, let's think about this. And then you'd all sort of chip in and help each other with your wonderful knowledge and expertise and get to show that off as well. And just, you know, connect as people. And I just, to see that come together, it's like,
yeah, I feel like what the other women are doing. It's so awesome. But it's so interesting that you say that about Aussies, because I'm pretty sure that Working Class Man was like the anthem of my childhood. It was like, gotta work hard to make a living. You know, working hard to make a living. Like that was pretty much what I, you know, that was how I grew up. And when I was about 21, I started to really get into like personal development and learning all these like things about taking responsibility for my life. And I remember sitting down saying to my mum, oh, I've got these beliefs that, you know, I thought they came from Dad. And I said, oh, you know, I've got these beliefs that you have to be wealthy and successful, you either have to be a total asshole or inherit it. And Mum's like, well, yeah, how else is it going to happen? I was like, oh my God, it came from both of you. Like, ah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just, it's like ingrained, I think, in us Aussies especially. But, and I love that.
Yeah, we're hard workers. That's like we're around the world, we're known as hard workers. And it's like someone said to me a few years ago that she's like, can we remove the word hard? And I now use like, I'm dedicated, I'm driven, I'm motivated. And we talked about this, like the language, like don't
A
call
lot.
yourself a worker.
I remember
Call yourself,
you
yeah.
shared a lot thing. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, it resonated so clear. It was like a picture of a lion and you're like, be the lioness.
Yes. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
tell that analogy for you because you love an analogy. No wonder. My psychologist gave me that, and I even used it yesterday. So I went and sat in the sun. But there's this beautiful picture. If you can just Google it. But there's it's on my blog. But there's a lioness, and she's sitting like in the sun, bathing in the sun. And if you think about the lioness, she doesn't work all day. She doesn't run around all day. The lioness, actually, you'll see her lying down. You'll see her resting. The lioness is actually the hunter. They are the ones who get the food. They do the kill, not the male. And so in order to have the energy to run after an antelope, to catch a gazelle, they have to rest. So she'll lay in the sun, she'll chill, she'll play with her cub. But when she sees that antelope, she's on and she will go for it. And so in order to have the energy to deliver in our business, in order to show up for our clients, we have to rest. We have to bathe in the sun. We have to fill our cup. Otherwise, we don't have the energy to catch that antelope. The antelope is the client.
Yeah. The value that we're adding, like we can't just continue to like run around all day and then there'll be nothing.
And give that energy and give it all to our car. Like it's like mama's gonna lie here, mama's gonna chill, mama's gonna soak it up, and then when I see the opportunity, like I had phone calls on Tuesday or Wednesday that was like, you know, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this. Like all these opportunities were coming, and so like, oh Emma, you seem a bit busy. It's like, no, but this is the time. This is the antelope. The antelopes are coming. And so let's like launch week. All the antelopes are here. I have to catch them, you know, in the nicest way possible. But then after this, I will rest. I will take some time out. And even this week, I've learned, you know, the ease and flow. I was like, oh my gosh, silly me, I've booked a lunch. Oh my gosh, silly me, I've actually booked a night away Sunday. Like, what am I thinking going and getting my hair done? And it's like, no, that's practicing what I preach. Like, I can run this high energy, high impact launch because I'm taking some time out for myself, because I'm going to bed earlier, because I'm making sure I'm going for a walk and leaving my phone at home in the afternoon. Like, otherwise, I can't just go, you know, and last launch probably was a lot harder because I just sat here going, like, waiting for the phone to ring, you know, and being busy. Whereas it's like, you know what, I'm going to take a walk now. I've done enough today.
Yeah, I was listening to Mel Robbins' podcast on the way home, and she was talking about dreams, and one of the quotes, I forget who the quote is from, but she shared the quote, if you let your light shine brightly enough, or let your light shine brightly enough so that others can find their way out of the darkness, I think practicing what you preach and showing up and doing those things, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a beautiful. And you have two gorgeous pearls of wisdom I want to share, and you can elaborate. The first one you gave was about the 3-second test for the website. So you did a presentation for Business Chicks, and it was like, oh my God, I took that away. And I think people can apply it to their personal brand. So can you tell us about that website test?
So, I mean, I created the 3-second test probably in like 2017, I think was the first time I started using it. And it's because I worked with this brand that had a global team. So I was, you know, I'm from Australia. They were based in, their head office was based in, they had people in London. You know, we had people all over the world. And so we were all collaborating on this one online store. And there were so many moving parts, and there's so many, you know, mixed messages and, you know, everything going out there. And what I really wanted to do was to create something that was just a really quick, instant yes or no, are we doing the right job here? Like, are we making it clear as to who we are, what we sell, why you should come and buy from us? And so I created the 3-second test, which is basically you take your website, you take a screenshot of the website before you scroll. And so you do this on your desktop and on a mobile. And the trick is you have to show it to people who do not know what you sell already. So you just go down to the local bakery or, you know, the library or wherever and just show people the website for 3 seconds and then remove it and say, what do you think we sell? And if they can tell you, if they can tell you what you sell, but if they can even better tell you who you're selling it to. And so that's why your images have to be amazing, your messaging has to be amazing, your branding has to be on point. All of those things have to be, you know, on target. But it kind of all comes down to that. Yeah, it's coming across the screen in 3 seconds, because, and you have to, you know, do it 5 times, and then if you pass, then awesome, and if you fail, then you've got some work to do, and you kind of test at a time and then go back and do it again. And if you think about it, like, everything now is online, so we have to communicate our magic through the screen. And especially like in my world, e-commerce, everything is literally like made up on the internet until about just like, you have to convey so much through the screen. And so it's not just, you know, it's not just here's our product, here's what we sell, it's that feeling as well. And so, yeah, the 3-second test is just a way to know, yeah, we're doing a good job, or no, let's go and tweak something, test a measure.
Yeah, I think sometimes like people go, oh my God, I'm going to redo everything. It's like, just tweak, just try little things and see if that works, and then try another thing. And I actually, it definitely applies to your personal brand. I love when people are like, they now see a post and they're like, oh, that's Emma, because it's colorful. Or like my face, like people will see, you know, that's my image is consistent. I'm not like changing my hair all the time or trying all these different looks. Like, it's not just about visual, but you know, they're like, oh, that energy is Emma. Like,
I've said every time, white shirt, or maybe blue, maybe pink, but usually white, and some big bold earrings, which I have an earring box here, so you know.
Ready to go. I've got some here as well. And I loved it. Yesterday presented a masterclass for Lindy Alexander's group, and she was like, I said, I've got to go get glam, I'll see you soon. And she's like, oh no, do I have to? And I was like, no. And then when I came on the call, she was like, I put on earrings for you. And I was like, thank you. I was like, you don't have to do that. This is me being glitter queen this week. The sequence on the back of the chair. But you know, but you can have that with your personal brand too, that people instantly recognize you. And that's by making sure your profile picture's clear, making sure your name is present. Like, people introduce themselves, and I did it today, when you start a live or even in your LinkedIn bio, don't just assume that people have seen from the top or you're about, like, I am Emma Lovell, you know, I'm Megan Winter, like saying that and putting your name repeatedly in places is really powerful. You know, I put on my email signature is on every single email. Even, it might be annoying, but then it means if somebody is in the 13th email in the chain, they still know how to contact me, and they still know, now my photo's there as well, because it wasn't before, but I put that. And you're just really imprinting to people this name and face. So if it's your business, obviously it'd be like logo, colors, or product image, whatever. You can still do that.
Because, you know, I am just a white t-shirt. Like, I sometimes think like, oh, that's not very memorable. Like, I need to sort of step it up a bit, but I don't know. It's like everything else I do as well is part of that.
But that's fine. I mean, and that's you, right? And like, I get from you that you're very like, you know, sort of go with the flow, sort of like chill, like, hey, like, I get that from you, and that would be right. Whereas, and you can dress it up, like, absolutely. But, you know, and it's got to be what's comfortable and consistent and effortless for us. Like, if you can't, you know, I got told, I did my styling session recently, and she's just been on my podcast this week. I highly recommend that episode. Jane Vandermeer, personal stylist. And she told me that, like, black for me, I was like, I can wear black. I used to wear black a lot, and I'm trying to phase it out, because she's like, it's like a costume for you. Like, you can do it and it'll be impactful. Like, so if I went to a gala and I wore a black dress, but she's like, then you have to do the makeup and the hair and the everything to go with it. So it's like, it's not sustainable for me to wear black every day, because I have to do so much. I have to bring so much more to make that look work. Whereas I can just, apparently this color is bang on for me. Having my hair out is easy for me. It's like, then I can show up easier.
I love it.
Yeah. Your other thing, because I'm going to let you go, I know we've gone over, but I just wanted to, one more thing. Megan is a podcaster like myself. We're going to do an episode. I'm actually going to put this on the podcast, Megan. I've really enjoyed this chat, but I would also love to do another one with you another time. But your first episode was packed full of gems, and you had talked about a champagne bottle and goal setting. And I think you were very excited because I actually went and did it straight after the podcast episode. So tell us what you were talking about with what are we doing with the champagne?
You know, you weren't the only one. I actually had like a handful of people reach out and show me that they'd done it. I was like, yes, taking action.
You should do a reel of that. You should do a reel of all the champagne bottles.
Oh my God, so much stuff I should be doing, honestly. Like,
sorry, I know. Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
I need to, yeah. Anyway. So the episode was called 10 Tips to a Champagne Worthy Quarter 4. And the first thing that I opened up with was my champagne target or my champagne goal. And so in the agency, what we do is when we have a big campaign, or for every financial year, depending on, you know, how we're working with the clients, we work in success cycles. And so when the client tells us their big stretch goal, that we call that their champagne target. And so we get a bottle of champagne, we write the target on, and we put it in the fridge ready to celebrate. And so I've done this with things like purchasing my house. Like, I know it's there, but it's like a goal for the future. So I'll buy the champagne well before I'm close to reaching my goal, put the goal on a Post-it note, put it in the fridge, ready to celebrate. And I think it just sends the universe like a signal, like, yeah, I'm ready for this. And it's also a reminder every day that you open the fridge, it's just a reminder,
looking at you,
I'm on my way. Like, what can I do? Small little thing to, you know, help me get closer. And champagne's fun. I love champagne. Champagne is like part of my brand, I think. It's always been, you know, there. So love a little champagne. And so I just think it's like, I don't know, a visual taste, like tactile, something that you can drink, like vision board almost, you know?
Well, yeah, and I've got my wall covered in like Post-its. Like, these are so many goals. But having it on like doing that, and I kind of was like, yeah, I've got that goal on the wall, Megan, that's fine. And then I looked up the champagne, like we have a wine rack, and I was like, yeah, well, the champagne's there, that's okay. But I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it into reality. And then I got really annoyed the other day because my husband had, you know, we had a lot of stuff in the fridge. So he'd moved the champagne bottle to the bottom shelf. And I was like, no, that is not how we manifest things in this house. We put it on the top shelf. It's totally inconvenient and in the way. And I don't care because I want to see it every single time I open the fridge. And I go, yep.
How good will it be when you pop that? It's like, it's such a beautiful analogy. You know, you pop the champagne, you drink it, you sip it, you celebrate. It's like, I just love it. So I'm so happy done that.
No, thank you for that. It was such a, and that's the thing, I think, tangible little tips and takeaways. And I think, funnily enough, with the course, like my How to Live and Love Your Brand course, it's probably like the tiniest little tips, little exercises that have made the biggest impact. I know you loved the 3 words that we did.
But those 3 words, it's just something that I always come back to. It's, you know, if somebody said, go and choose 3 words, like, it's impossible. But then once you've gone through the course, it like all boiled down to me for those 3 words. So my 3 words were inspiring, brilliant, and fun. And it's just such a reminder to show up in that way, or like have it as a bit of a check-in. And, you know, there's so many exercises and things, and like, you know, we had to pull a lot out to get to those 3 beautiful words. But once you're there, it's like, oh yeah, it's just that, you know, it's like the champagne bottle in the fridge. It's just that reminder of something small and easy. And like I said, my brain, you know, I like simple things that I can remember. I'll be like,
exactly. Oh, look, I'm going to let you go because I know we could talk forever. I'm so grateful for your time. I'm so grateful for the way that you showed up, like that you truly like gave to the course, and then what you've got out of it, and then the fact that you've given your time and you've given me beautiful testimonial and case study. But like, you are exactly what I want for the course, and so thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I just think I'd love to say that, you know, I'm so grateful for you and for bringing your work out into the world. And if anybody's thinking about doing the course or sitting on the fence, I will just give them a little nudge to go, you won't regret it, jump in, do it. It's going to change not only your business, but it'll change the way that you show up in life. So push, jump in.
And do the champagne. Yes. Thank you so much. The course, the link is in bio. I'll be posting all about it. It's only halfway. I've got 4 more days. So thanks, Megan. And this is going to be on the, you can watch the replay, do the comments, and it's going to end up on the podcast as well. Hi, Kate. It's going to end up on the podcast as well because, there was some lovely moments in this. So have a beautiful day. And we're going for a bushwalk soon. Maybe we need to put that on a champagne bottle so we make it. Bye, gorgeous. Thank you.
Bye, lovely.